Hey guys, I wanted to throw in a trigger warning in the beginning of this video. I'm going to be discussing kidnapping, so if you are sensitive to that, please skip this video and I will see you in the next one.
Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight I am here to talk to you about the recent video that's been going around by an influencer by the name of Katie Sorensen. She had allegedly a very close scare with kidnapping. I have quite a few thoughts, so if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so this is not going to be glam, sassy kind of video. This is going to be a little bit more serious, but I am going to give you, of course, my unfiltered opinion. There's an influencer. Her name is Katie Sorensen, and this video was circulating over the last couple of days. Shout out to Josh from Dad Challenge Podcast. He actually shared the full video with me because I needed the full video so that I could make this video. So thank you, Josh. So here's the thing with this. The first time I actually saw this lady, it was on Sloan's Instagram. He posted her video and then it was gone. So what that told me was there was a reason why it was gone, and my tinfoil hat kind of went on at that point because I was already seeing some people call her story into question. And here's the thing, you guys. There might be some people watching this video saying, oh, well, you have no right to make commentary on this because you're not a mom. I've heard that for the past several months, guys. Like, as my channel has gained traction, that's always the thing. You're not allowed to have an opinion on moms because you're not a mom. Here's the thing. I have a brain and I have a soul, and I have opinions, and I'm going to put them out there. This is not going to be one of those more snarky videos, because this video and this entire story is so crazy. I can't even begin to explain it. I don't like to cite BuzzFeed as a source, but BuzzFeed has covered this story, and they have essentially released information that I think is accurate in this situation. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to some of her video, and then I will share with you guys the updates, and I'll put my opinion throughout the video. When you hear that a child was almost kidnapped, that is attention grabbing, fear automatically starts taking over your body, even if it's not your child or a child that you know. When I was young, one of my first paying jobs was at a daycare. I worked with the school age kids, I worked with 2-year-olds, I worked with infants, I worked with 4-year-olds. So I kind of, I was a floater, so I worked with a lot of different kids. That is the number one thing, aside from like first aid, CPR, that's the second thing that you're taught as soon as you get into childcare, is the dangers of kidnapping and the fact that there are people out there that will try to walk up in a daycare and take a child. Like, it is so scary, and it is never anything to exaggerate or claim happened when it didn't. This story, it just puts a pit in my stomach, because I've told you guys before, if there's one thing I cannot stand in life, it's a liar. You can be a lot of things and I'll, try to get along with you, but if you're a liar, I have no room for you in my life. And that goes for both people online and in my real life. Just the fact that someone would ever even think about fabricating a story like this is shocking to me. It leaves me in utter question of what humanity has come to. And what I've gathered from what I know is that this woman is an influencer mom who sells CBD and essential oils, and she's an MLM hun. And In my personal opinion, she created this story in order to drive up her followers, which it worked. She has over 80,000 followers now on Instagram. Let's actually check. She has gone private. She had over 80,000 followers. I don't know if people have started to unfollow her since the new update came out, but this is just ridiculous. It makes me sick that someone would ever come up with a story this tragic that happens to kids every day in real life to gain popularity or clout. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? That's my number one question. We're going to listen to parts of this video. Spoiler alert, she says literally a million times, and she also gives a lot of details that I think are unwarranted, but we're going to listen to parts of the video and we will go from there.
On Monday of this week, my children were the targets of attempted kidnap, which is such a weird thing to even vocalize, but it happened, and I want to share that story with you in an effort to raise awareness as to what signs to look for, and to just encourage parents to be more aware of their surroundings and what is.
One of the first things that I noticed is, and again, I can't come from this from a seat of saying, well, I know what I would do, because I don't know what I would do. I've never been in a position of having my child targeted and, almost kidnapped. But I noticed that she was very composed in telling this story. It was almost like she was just talking to a girlfriend about, what she did last night. So to me, that was kind of another red flag, just that she was so composed and not shocked, not sad, not frantic. So again, I can't say what I would do, but that's something that I did notice.
What's going on around them. I think right now we are so distracted by everything that's going on in the world that we are kind of have our guards up so much about masks and wanting to keep our children safe that way, that we're forgetting the most important way to keep them safe, and that is with us, and to not have them taken.
I don't think that the state of the world, with the word that starts with a C, I can't say that that has made me act any differently when I'm out and about in a store, even thinking of my own safety. I keep my eyes peeled and I make sure that people aren't following me. There's weird people in the world. It's just the way it is. But I can't say that I act any different now than I did before. But again, I'm only one person. I realize she has kids. I'm not going to continue saying that throughout this video because it's obvious that she's a different person than I am. But as far as wearing a mask and, having to move a little differently, that hasn't made me forget about my personal safety.
So I'm going to share a story in an effort to raise that awareness, but I'm not ready. This is hard for me. I'm not ready to share this story, but I know it's important, and I would rather be uncomfortable and awkward and get the message out sooner than wait until I feel composed, because I don't know if I'll ever be composed talking.
Right here, she's kind of grinning, and I can't say that if I was spreading a very serious message to bring awareness to something sensitive like kidnapping, that I would even have a remote grin on my face
about this. So here we go. On Monday, like I said, my children were the targets of attempted kidnap. We went to Michael's craft store just to run a few errands, get some things to make some homemade gifts. Very quick trip. I have not taken my children out a lot as of late, but this was just a situation where we just needed to run this errand, and I thought I came prepared. I brought the double stroller, thinking I'd just throw them in, cover them up, put the cover on top, and just walk through the store quickly, grab our stuff, and go. I only had 2 items I needed to grab. and then I did a Target pickup, so that was the only time we were getting out of the car. So we get to Michael's. I park as far away as possible in an effort to not inconvenience
The ums are really killing me already, lady.
others with our big stroller. That was always my go-to. Whenever I brought the double stroller, I'd park far away so that people wouldn't be frustrated with me taking forever getting the stroller in and out. That is the first thing that from this day forward I will be doing differently if I ever choose to bring my kids out again. So I'm getting the stroller out.
Okay, even if this story was true, if I ever bring my kids out again, what are you going to do? Leave them at home all day, every day, unless they're going to school? That's just ridiculous. So already I feel like she's a bit of an exaggerator.
Well, I load my oldest in, and just a side note, he's not my oldest, but the oldest in this situation, he's my middle child. He has autism, and so things look a little bit different for him right now as far as masks and things go. So anyway, I get him in the stroller. I put him in the front. This is relevant to the story, but I put him in the front because he is a little old to be in a stroller. He's 4 years old. And so if I put him in the bottom, it's a little too top heavy. I'm not able to maneuver it as well. So I put him in the top. And as I'm putting him in and going over to get my daughter out, I notice a gentleman. He is parked in the spot, not in front of me, but to the left, 2 spots. There's nobody else around us because I parked so far away. He gets out of his car and starts walking towards me, and my thought is, oh, he's just gonna offer to help me because I probably look like I need help or something. He walks towards me, looks for a while, and then just turns around and gets back in his car. I was like, oh, that was weird. Maybe he thought he recognized me or something. I don't know. So I get the kids in the stroller and we go into the store. And as we're walking into the store, I notice the same gentleman. Again, not a lot of people are around, so I notice the same gentleman get out of his car, and there is now a female with him.
So she says that there weren't a lot of people around. If there weren't a lot of people around, then that tells me that the store wasn't busy. So why would she feel the need to park so far away from the store? Because around me, I have Michael's stores. There's like 3 within like a 20-minute, 30-minute drive of where I live. And I'm just picturing if the store isn't super busy, then the parking lot isn't going to be super busy. So I don't know why she would purposefully park so far away. I could see parking really far away if the parking lot was like full. Then obviously you want to park further out so that you have a little bit more room. But she's saying that there was really no one in the store, which tells me the parking lot was probably empty. So why did you park so far away?
And they've come in and they walk kind of close behind me. I definitely felt the heebie-jeebies. I didn't feel good, but I thought I was judging a book by its cover. They were not like kind. That sounds bad, but they weren't clean-cut individuals.
This pisses me off. So automatically she says they weren't kind, and then she catches herself and says they weren't clean-cut. So this is someone who will look at someone who doesn't have their little gray beanie and their leather jacket on and will say that someone doesn't look kind because they're not Instagram worthy or put together enough. I don't like that. I don't like this lady so far.
And so I attributed my discomfort to just, again, judging a book by its cover. That is the second thing that I will change from this experience forward.
So anyone that doesn't look clean cut, you're gonna think that they're not there to be nice to you, or they're there to do harm. I don't like that. I have met some of the sweetest, kindest souls. So I used to work basically in a big city, And I remember when I was taking public transit, the metro system, I would get off of the metro and there were always like 2 or 3 homeless people that were there every day, every morning, every evening, and every day when I would go out for a walk or go out for lunch. And those people were more kind to me and better to talk to than the people that I worked with that were getting paid 6 figures a year. I don't like people that judge just based off appearance. I don't like that.
But I'll touch back on those things. But anyway, so they follow close behind me. I only have 2 items I need to get. I go directly to the back of the store because one of those items is spray paint, and that is something that you need assistance to get. So I asked for assistance. I noticed they're hanging close by, and I'm like, maybe they need spray paint too. I don't know. But then I hear them talking, and they are describing in detail the characteristics of my children. They're saying blonde hair, blue eyes, maybe 1 year old, trying to guess ages.
And bless Josh, okay, I saw part of his video and he gave this lady the benefit of the doubt, and I don't like to call people liars, but the other thing that put me onto this woman is the fact that I'm just trying to think in the mind of like a criminal or a kidnapper. If I was kidnapping or trying to kidnap a child, I would not, I wouldn't allow someone to know that I'm following them. 1. 2, if I had someone with me, we're not going to be standing having a conversation describing the child so that this woman can hear exactly what we're saying. And the other thing that I want to say is, didn't she say that the stroller had a cover? Now, I don't know. I'm not a stroller connoisseur, so excuse me, but I feel like the covered strollers that I've seen, you usually cannot see the child. And if you can see them, you might be able to see the hair color, but you're definitely not going to be able to see what color eyes the child has through the stroller cover. Unless it was a covered stroller that literally had a clear cover, then obviously that, is another way to look at it. But most of the ones that I've seen, you can't see the kid. At best, you can see, okay, they have blonde hair, but you're not going to be able to see the eye color. And then you're talking to your, person that you're working with here and describing the kid. Like, criminals, there are some dumb criminals, just like there's some dumb everyone in the world. But most of the time with something like that, I wouldn't think that they would be that dumb, knowing that they're in a quiet store and they can be heard.
And I just kind of ignore it. I'm like, maybe they're going to make a fuss because neither of my children were wearing masks. Maybe that's the fuss. Or maybe I'm just hearing things. I'm not shy to Crime Junkie podcasts and think.
You're just hearing things. You're just hearing blonde hair, blue eyes. They're discussing the age. Like, that's not hearing things. Hearing things is hearing someone say time and you think that they said crime. Like, come on, lady.
Things like that. And so I kind of thought maybe I'm getting in my own head. Like, that's not really what's happening. There's no way. So anyway, I get my spray paint and then I noticed that they follow me over to the next item that I'm getting. And it was just one thing random in the back.
So here's the thing. This is where I would have pumped the brakes, even if I was by myself, but especially if I had children with me. Once they're continuing to follow me, and if they are describing my children, I am going to get someone and ask for help. And I'm going to be asked to be escorted out of the store with either a manager or, someone who is able to escort me out of the store. There's no way that I'm just going to act like this isn't happening.
The store. I continue to get in line. It's when I try to kind of make eye contact to maybe talk. to try to get around my feelings. Maybe I'm just making this up in my head. Maybe they're not really that way, and I would like to have some sort of interaction with them to discredit.
Yeah, but your argument's kind of collapsing on itself, because you said that you heard them describing your child, but now you're saying that it's just all made up in your head. Like, which one is it?
What I'm feeling right now. But they would not look at me. They were doing that thing, you know, when someone isn't looking at you, but you know they're watching you. Like right now, I'm visually paying attention to the screen, but I'm looking away. That's what it was. And anyway, so I just felt very, very uncomfortable. And then I noticed that they didn't have anything in their hands. And this was a very long line. It was like wrapped down the store. There were only 2 clerks checking people out.
Okay. So first she said in the beginning that nobody was really in the store, but now the checkout line is wrapped around the store. That doesn't make sense to me. I have seen stores where it will appear empty in the aisles, and then you get to the line and it's a little busier, but typically you're going to see more people wandering about the store and then see a long line that's wrapped around the store.
So I had quite a bit of time in line with them, and it wasn't until we got a little bit closer to the cash register that they finally picked something up. But as we were in line, there was a really nice lady in front of me.
And by the way, to me, I'm just trying to think, like, you know, if I was, you know, on the other side of this, if I was trying to commit the crime, I would have had items in my hand way ahead of time. And I wouldn't have been following her so closely, but I also wouldn't have gotten in line empty-handed.
And we were speaking about the kids and just life, I don't know, life right now. And there came a point where she was talking to me, and I was doing that thing where you kind of nod and smile and act like you're listening, but really your ears are elsewhere. And I was listening to what they were saying behind me. And this is when I knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that they were talking about my children for purposes that were not appropriate, or not, that didn't sit right. They wouldn't just talk about kids this way. And they went into detail about their features, talking about like their...
I still go back to the thing of the stroller being covered. Yeah, the covered stroller really brings up a ton of questions for me, because literally, unless it's like a covered stroller that is, you know, clear as glass, how are they going to be able to discuss specific features of the children? And the way she described it, I didn't think both of them were visible, because she said one went on top and one went on the bottom. I don't know, guys. I guess it would depend, like, what kind of covered stroller, because I've seen the covered strollers where it's literally like covered, and then I've also seen the ones that are kind of like a half thing. But if she's saying my kid wasn't wearing a mask because the stroller was covered, in my mind that means that it was covered enough where they were kind of, you know, not exposed to what was in the air. Does that make sense? I hope that it does.
Eyes, their face, everything. And then the thing that disturbed me the most was that the gentleman said, sorry, this is really hard to, the gentleman said to whomever he was talking to on the phone or whatever, sorry, the boy will be easier because he's not wearing a mask, so the mom must not really care about him that much.
The Academy Award goes to this lady with her fuzzy gray hat.
And I don't know why. I can't tell you why I didn't turn around and say something right then.
Because you're dumb.
I didn't have the courage to shoot a mean look. I was paralyzed.
I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to insult her intelligence here, but there were so many opportunities to do something, to say something, to seek help. If the line was wrapped around the store, that tells me that there were plenty of people around where she could have given eye contact or said, hey, I need help. Like, if your kid's safety is in danger, that's the time to get loud. It's not the time to stay quiet and mosey over here and, make sure that you're getting your supplies. Like, that's the time to like go to the manager and get loud and get vocal and say, these people are trying to, plot against my kids. Like, they're acting weird. They're describing my children. Like, I need help right now. I would have called the cops. I would have told the manager. I would have asked someone else in the store. Like, I don't know. This woman is, in this scenario, I can say that her decisions were dumb, in my opinion.
Paralyzed with fear. And I almost just discredited what was happening. Like, I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that this was actually happening. And so I just kind of, I ignored it.
I ignored it. I ignored it. They were talking about my children. They wanted to kidnap my child. I ignored it. Are you kidding me?
That's something that I've had to live with and will have to live with, and that was very hard for me. But moving on.
That was very hard for me. But moving on, let me continue to tell my story.
The lady in front of me didn't hear any of the conversation that was happening behind me. I continued to stay engaged with her all the while, trying to keep my kids happy.
This too, I have to tell you, maybe I'm just like a master like eavesdropper, not a good title to have, but I have to say, I'm trying to imagine if I'm in the middle of two people and I'm talking to the person in front of me, or if I'm in front and I'm talking to the person behind me and the people behind them are having a conversation, even if I'm making a little small talk with this person in the middle, I think I would still be able to tell if something weird was going on with the conversation behind them. But maybe that's just me.
And, we're waiting in a long line and I have two little kids, so I'm giving them snacks and different things. And as we get closer to the front of the line, the lady in front of me says, you know what, you have the two kids, you go ahead. Mind you, the kids weren't throwing a fit at all. She really wasn't doing it to like, she was just being kind. And she just said, I wish people would do more kind things, and gave me some stickers to give to the kids and was just really sweet. So anyway, I get in front of her and I think, this is it. This is my way out. I'm going to check out really quick, run to the car and get out of here. So I check out quickly, 2 items. I walk out, call David, my husband, and I say to him,
why are you calling your husband? Why are you calling your husband and not the police? And I understand, initially I was like, yeah, I would have gotten out of the store and run. But what she should have actually done was asked for help a long time ago. And she should have called the police. Why are you not calling the police? I understand everyone deals with fear differently, but your children's safety is at risk. This, of all times, I feel like adrenaline would take over and you would be able to be vocal, cuss someone out, yell for a manager, ask for help, call the police, anything but roam outside and call your husband.
If we had a code word, we talked about having a code word before. If we had a code word, I'd be using that right now. He's like, what the heck are you talking about? And I said, I think someone was following me in the store and talking about the kids. He's like,
so I'm just out here in the parking lot talking to you.
What? What are you talking about? And as I'm saying this, I feel someone walking right behind me, and I turn around, and sure enough, they are right behind me. They did not buy anything at the store. They must have put down whatever they had picked up to pretend to buy, and followed me out. They notice me, notice them, so they go like they're going to their car. And I start walking more quickly. I look up at my car, and there's a...
If your plan was to haul ass out of there and get to your car, I can't understand where things went off track, where you decide to hang out outside and call your husband. Talk about a code word, let him know what's going on, like, here's the 411. No, like, you do all that shit once you're out of that parking lot and in your car on the way home. Come on, lady.
White van parked exactly right next to my car.
Okay, by the way, this whole white van thing, this is so stereotypical. Like, you know, growing up, you hear about like the weird guy in the white van that has like free candy. Of all things, she picked a white van. I don't know.
So to just play out where the parking situation was. So it was one of those, there's a parking lot for the first group of stores, and then there is a second group of stores with a second parking lot. And then there's like a divider in between where...
And by the way, she's being super detailed here. It doesn't even matter. But in the other, or in the first part of the video, didn't she explain that this person was parked like ahead and 2 spots over or something?
Where people, traffic can go back and forth in between. And in that, so I was parked in the spot closest to our store, if that makes sense. Like, in the parking lot that's still close to our store that we were going to, that's the parking lot I was in, and I was in the second to last parking spot. So there was only one spot in between myself and the area where other traffic can go through. So that van was positioned perfectly right next to my car, blocked by my own car in a way that...
Yeah, in the beginning of the video, she definitely said that they were not parked directly next to her.
If people were around, they wouldn't be able to see what was going on. So I see that van, and my stomach just sinks, and I don't know what to do. I'm too afraid to change the direction I'm going. I can't explain to you what I was thinking. There was no logic. It was very...
I would say that when you have your children's safety in your hands, that would be the time to use a little bit of logic. And instead of going into an empty parking lot where a weird white van is, you would turn around and go where there were people wrapped around the line in the store, and there are clerks and people working at Michael's. Go over here alone, or go back in the store where there's a lot of people. I don't know, lady. Logic? You need some.
I was terrified, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I walk straight to my car. I get ready to load my kids in as quickly as I can. I know the basics. The basics are to keep your kids within reach, keep your eyes on both of them at the same time, and be alert. And that's what I was doing all the while on the phone with my husband, because I just felt like I needed someone there with me. I was so scared, and there was no...
If you needed someone there with you, why the fuck wouldn't you have turned around and gone back in the store and asked for help, even though you should have a long time ago? You're sitting here on the phone with your husband trying to get 2 kids in the car while you have some weirdo allegedly trying to kidnap your kid. This lady is not the sharpest knife in the, drawer.
Nobody around, which another mistake I made, which we'll touch on. But I get Olive, my daughter, in the car, and I, as I'm buckling her, shaking and quickly, I had the stroller right next to me, and I didn't...
By the way, if they had their eyes allegedly on her son, why wouldn't that have been the first child to go in the car?
Lock it, and so he just slides barely out of reach. And as that's happening, I see the couple walking towards my car, and they walk around, not the full perimeter, but half of the car. They go back and forth around half of my car. And they're doing that thing again where they're not looking at me, so I can't make eye contact with them. I'm looking right at them, but they won't look at me. And while they're doing that, they're holding hands, and I'm going to show you, if I can, kind of how they were. So they were holding hands kind of like this.
This is
like
stupid.
They had their hands like this. They weren't Do I leave? What do I do? I'm like this stroller, and I'm just saying to Dave, this is happening right now. What do I do? This is happening right now. Do I leave? What do I do? I'm too afraid to say something to them. I couldn't.
This lady it's actually like making my blood pressure rise right now, because get off the phone with your husband. Like, I get it. Like, that's the person that you love and that you're dedicated to. But this is literally fight or flight. You had your opportunity to haul your ass to the car. If that's what you wanted to do, put the kids in the car, throw it in drive, and get out of there. But instead, she lollygags outside, calls her husband, talks about the code word, and gives these people an opportunity to follow her, allegedly. And then she puts the daughter in the car first, even though they had the eyes on the son, allegedly. And she's still on the phone with her husband. Come on.
I couldn't do it. I don't know why.
Because you're dumb.
Forever bother me. But they're walking towards me, or they walk around the car, do that twice, and then as I go to, I decide I'm just going to throw Finley and the stroller. I don't even care about the stroller. I'm just going to throw Finley in the trunk. I'm going to jump in the trunk. We're going to close this car. We're getting out of here. All the while, I'm so focused on this couple, I'm not paying attention to the van. It's almost like that's become irrelevant to me, because that was kind of speculation in the first place. But I open the trunk. As I'm opening the trunk.
So is she saying the van and the couple are two different things? Or is she saying the couple owns the van? I'm confused.
You know, it goes boop, boop, boop. Finley is next to me, but there's a hair of a second where I can't see all of the stroller. You know what I mean? And in that hair of a second, they had taken 2 steps forward towards the stroller, then 2 steps back, then 2 steps forward, then 2 steps back. It made no sense. It was obvious.
Listen, here's the thing. If there were people that wanted to take your kids, they're not going to be walking the perimeter of the car, doing 2 steps forward, doing this weird hold hands stuff. Like, I think that people that do this, you know, and they have their mind set that this is going down, they're not here to prance around and act all fucking weird. They're here, it's going down, like it's gonna happen quickly. All of this dumb shit that she's sprinkling into this story is, I think, what made a lot of people question the story from the get-go.
What they were doing. In that last time, he reaches for the stroller, and by the absolute grace of God, someone is parked just a few spots away, just close enough to see what's going on, but not close enough for the people that are involved in trying to take my child to notice. And it's an old man. He must have been like 80 plus years old. Looks at me, and he has this mask on, and his eyes get so big.
She's so full of it. Here's the thing. I get it. I see elderly people out and about right now, but I have a hard time believing that this 80-year-old grandpa just so happened to be in the parking lot. He got out of his car. He's going into Michael's of all stores, an 80-year-old grandpa. Like, I don't know.
Kind of asking, like, do you need help? And I just yell, excuse me, can you please help me? And this little old man just comes running over, and the couple.
So now all of a sudden, now she can be vocal. When she was in the store and there were tons of people there that could have helped her, she was too scared. And when she was on the phone with her husband, she was able to talk, but she wasn't able to talk the rest of the time. Oh my God.
Whatever they drop, they didn't drop anything. They just don't stop reaching for the stroller, run, get in their car, drive off. And in that moment, I feel a rush behind me, and I turn around, and there is a man right behind me. And he kind of plays it off like, oh, do you need help with something? and I just like look at him. I'm just paralyzed. Like I can't talk. I'm just, he gets in the van, shuts the door, and just drives off quickly. And this old man and his caretaker, his daughter, I don't know who it is, but come running over, and I just am hysterical. Like I can't talk. And he just says, I saw what happened. You did the right thing. It's okay. Everything, your children are safe. It's okay.
The thing that I said is I want to talk to that old man. I want to hear his story. I want to hear exactly what he has to say from beginning to end. That would have been an interesting thing because in my personal opinion, he doesn't exist.
They help me get everything into the car, and I drive off and I file a police report, and that is the extent of that. I am well aware of how different that could have played out, and that's what scares me the most, is that despite the fact that I was in...
Okay, lady, that's enough of you. Let's listen, or let's see what the new update is. So it says, police in the Northern California city of Petaluma said Thursday night that they found no evidence of a crime after investigating allegations by a mom influencer that a couple tried to kidnap her kids at a local craft store. Police officials say they have instead found evidence that support the couple's version of events. Katie Sorensen's tale of barely escaping a pair of kidnappers at her local Michael's blew up social media this week after she posted it on her Instagram account, Motherhood Essentials. BuzzFeed News has also made contact with a family member of the couple who said the couple are of Latino descent, have 5 children between them, and 2 grandchildren. They are horrified at the allegations against the couple, who said they were shopping and speaking about their own grandchildren, not Sorensen's kids, in the store. They accuse Sorensen of racial profiling. You guys, this is so disgusting that, like, why? Why would you even feel the need to come up with this extravagant story? To be the mom who brought awareness because your kids almost got kidnapped, allegedly, so that you could build a strong group of, people around you and sell them your magic CBD products and your shitty essential oils. This makes me sick to my stomach. People who are racially profiled, mistreated in this country, and accused of crimes when they did nothing wrong makes me sick to my stomach. And the fact that this white influencer had the audacity to fabricate this story and post it on her Instagram and gain her little, 70,000 followers or whatever she gained is disgusting. So I hope that she loses sleep at night. I hope that she feels like a terrible person, even though I don't know if she does, because most influencers are very self-centered and have no self-awareness at all, as we know. But my heart breaks for the couple that was inaccurately, pinned in this. It's completely unfair, and it makes me really sad. It's just gross. It's gross, and it's gross. Like, how could you look at yourself and make this video knowing that you're lying? Do you even have a soul? And here's the thing. This is what I'll finish this video off with. I am such a huge believer in karma. For her to fabricate this entire story, I would be so worried about karma coming to collect that it would just eat me up. Why would you put this out into the universe knowing that these people could have been charged? They could have, you know, had something bad happen to them in police custody, because we know that that happens often. It's disgusting. And Katie Sorensen, you are gross. And I hope that you disappear from the internet forever. So that's my thoughts on that. You know, the other thing that was very suspicious was that she said that she didn't want any charges filed against the people. If this actually happened, you would want these people off of the street and out of your neighborhood and out of your community. If that's actually what happened, you would never want that to happen to someone else's child or someone else's children. So you would want to go forward with charges. Nobody has something like that happen and just says, no, I don't want anyone to get in trouble. So that was another red flag. But anyway, this lady is, she's gross. Like, and this again comes back to these, you know, influencers doing anything to get their followers up. And this just so happens to take the cake as of lately as far as the most disgusting award for trying to get popular. So anyway, guys, stay away from influencers, stay away from mommy vloggers, stay away from anyone who tries to sell you essential oil or anything from their shitty MLM. So that's my thoughts on this. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.